We tend to think of walking as something simple, something ordinary, just getting from one place to another. But what if I told you that something as humble as walking 10,000 steps a day has the power to reprogram your biology for longevity, not just to help you live longer, but to live better, with more energy, clarity, and resilience. Because what happens inside your body when you commit to those daily steps is nothing short of extraordinary. See, your body is not static. It's constantly adapting to what you ask of it. If you sit all day, your body learns to conserve energy. Muscles weaken, circulation slows, joints stiffen, metabolism downshifts. It prepares for stillness. But when you walk, and especially when you walk consistently, your body begins to rewire itself in the opposite direction. It starts preparing you not just to survive, but to thrive. Every step you take is like a gentle nudge to your entire system. Wake up, rebuild, get strong again. Your bones respond to the impact by increasing density. Your muscles respond to the repetition by strengthening. Your mitochondria, the tiny power plants in your cells, begin to multiply, giving you more stamina and energy. This isn't abstract theory, it's basic human physiology. The body follows the demand you place on it. And walking at 10,000 steps a day places the right kind of demand, sustainable, natural, and healing. But let's go deeper. When you move your body through space, you're not just training your heart and lungs. You're training your genes. You're turning on specific genetic switches that regulate inflammation, immune repair, fat metabolism, even cell longevity. Walking activates AMPK constituent pathways, the same ones targeted by longevity research, calorie restriction, and even advanced pharmaceuticals. But here, you're not relying on a drug or supplement, using your own body the way it was designed. This is how walking becomes a form of cellular instruction. Each step is a message to your DNA. Keep me young, keep me strong. That's why people who walk regularly don't just feel better. They often look younger. There's a vibrancy in their skin, a clarity in their eyes, a strength in their posture. It's the physical signature of a body that's in motion, a body that's engaged in the lifelong project of regeneration. Now, I want to address something I hear often. I'm too old, or I've been sedentary for too long. But the truth is, your body doesn't keep a grudge. It doesn't punish you for years of inactivity. It simply responds to what you do today. The moment you begin walking regularly, even slowly, even gradually, your system starts making positive changes. Your blood vessels open up, your metabolism shifts, your joints begin to lubricate, your muscles wake up. It's never too late to send the right message. And the beauty of walking is that it's accessible. You don't need a gym, you don't need fancy equipment. All you need is commitment and a little time each day. 10,000 steps might sound like a big number, but it's achievable for most people when broken into chunks. A walk after breakfast, a stroll in the afternoon, a few steps in the evening. The body doesn't care when you do it, only that you do. But let's not forget the psychological power behind this daily ritual. When you walk every day, you're not just building physical endurance, you're building mental resilience. You begin to trust your body again. You realize that your health isn't a mystery, it's a relationship. And every day, every walk becomes a conversation between you and your future self. One where you're saying, I care enough to keep going. Highly healthy people understand this. They don't wait for a diagnosis to start walking. They walk to prevent the diagnosis. They walk because they know that every step isn't just motion, it's medicine. And over time, this habit creates a kind of inner momentum. You stand taller, you sleep deeper, you think clearer, and here's the most powerful part. Your body becomes a place you want to live in. Not a burden, not a liability, but a home that supports you, serves you, and keeps evolving with you. So the next time you wonder if it's worth it, those 10,000 steps, remember this. You're not just walking to burn calories. You're walking to send a message of vitality, of strength, of renewal, a message that says, I choose to live fully, not just longer, but better. Because in the quiet rhythm of your footsteps, your body is listening. And when you walk with purpose, it walks with you. Let's talk about your heart, that tireless, faithful muscle beating over 100,000 times a day. It asks for so little, yet it gives you everything. Oxygen, energy, circulation, life itself. And when you commit to walking 10,000 steps a day, something incredible begins to happen. You start teaching your heart to beat smarter, not harder. Now here's what I mean by that. Your heart is dynamic. It responds directly to your habits, especially movement. When you're sedentary, your heart has to work harder to push blood through stiff arteries and unresponsive muscles. But the moment you start walking regularly, not running, not sprinting, just walking, you begin reversing that burden. Your blood vessels start to expand, your circulation improves, and your resting heart rate starts to drop. And that's a beautiful thing because it means your heart is becoming more efficient, more relaxed, more resilient. The science is crystal clear. Consistent walking improves the function of your endothelium. That's the thin lining inside your blood vessels. It helps regulate blood pressure, prevents clotting, and supports vascular flexibility. When you walk 10,000 steps a day, you're not just helping your legs, you're helping your arteries again. They become more elastic, more responsive. Your blood flows with less resistance, and your entire cardiovascular system begins to operate like a well-tuned orchestra rather than a strained solo. This shift also helps lower your systolic and diastolic blood pressure naturally without medication for many people. It stabilizes your cholesterol levels, helps regulate triglycerides, and supports a better balance between LDL and HDL, the so-called bad and good cholesterol. And these improvements don't take years. You can begin to see measurable cardiovascular changes within weeks of adopting a consistent walking practice. That's how responsive your body is when you show it consistency. And what I love about walking is that it doesn't spike stress, it reduces it. Unlike high intensity exercise that can sometimes elevate cortisol, brisk walking helps to regulate it. This is crucial because chronic stress is one of the most overlooked drivers of heart disease. When your body is in a near constant fight or flight state, your blood pressure rises, your vessels constrict, and your heart races unnecessarily. Walking is nature's antidote. It tells your nervous system, we're okay, we're safe, we're in flow. Now here's something powerful to consider. A healthy heart doesn't just keep you alive, it allows you to engage with life. It gives you the endurance to walk with your grandchildren, the freedom to climb stairs without gasping, the energy to dance at celebrations, and the confidence to trust your body again. This isn't just about avoiding disease. This is about reclaiming the joy and spontaneity that a strong heart makes possible. And I want to be honest here. Many people wait until they feel something wrong, a flutter, a shortness of breath, a trip to the ER, before they start thinking about heart health. But by then, the damage may already be done. That's why walking is such a gift. It's preventive medicine in its purest form. It's your daily opportunity to strengthen your most vital muscle quietly, consistently, without side effects. Even for those already managing heart conditions, walking is one of the safest and most recommended forms of rehabilitation. It rebuilds capacity without overstressing the system. And when done regularly, it helps lower the risk of recurrent cardiac events by as much as 20-30%. That's not anecdotal, that's evidence-based. And it's achievable by simply showing up for yourself each day, one step at a time. But beyond the biology, walking teaches you something deeper, something philosophical. It teaches you rhythm. It teaches you patience. With each step, your heart finds a new pace, a calmer pace, a wiser pace. And in that rhythm, you begin to sense what true health feels like. Not frantic, not forced, but steady, sustainable. You start noticing the way your breath syncs with your stride. You begin to feel less rushed, less scattered. You listen more, not just to the world, but to your own body. And your heart, that beautiful, tireless engine, begins to reflect that balance. It beats with grace, with strength, with confidence. Confidence. So if you're wondering whether 10,000 steps a day is worth the time, consider this. Your heart is listening. Every step you take, every walk you choose, every time you move instead of sitting still, you're sending a powerful message to your cardiovascular system. A message that says, I'm here, I'm taking care of you, let's keep going. Because in the quiet repetition of your steps, you're building not just endurance, you're building a heart that lasts. A heart that carries not just blood, but purpose. And that, my friend, is how we begin to live fully with each beat. And with every step forward, we've explored what walking 10,000 steps does for the body, how it strengthens your heart, supports your bones, and activates powerful longevity pathways. But now let's talk about what it does for your mind. Because walking doesn't just change your physiology, it transforms your neurochemistry. And in today's world, where stress is chronic and mental fatigue is widespread, this is perhaps its most powerful benefit. When you walk regularly, especially outdoors, at a steady pace, your brain begins to shift into a different state. You're no longer in reactive mode. You're no longer consumed by fragmented thoughts or digital distractions. Your brain moves from beta wave dominance, which is tied to focus, problem solving, and stress, into alpha rhythms, those calm, creative, meditative frequencies that allow for clarity, memory consolidation, and emotional regulation. And that's not just theory, that's measurable. Walking increases the production of serotonin, a neurotransmitter that stabilizes mood and contributes to feelings of well-being. It also releases endorphins, natural opioids produced by your brain that reduce pain and create a subtle sense of euphoria. Many people report that after just 20 or 30 minutes of walking, especially in nature, they feel lighter, emotionally less burdened, more centered. That's not a coincidence, that's chemistry. But it goes even deeper. Every step you take boosts the production of something called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF. Think of BDNF as brain fertilizer. It helps repair existing neurons, encourages the growth of new ones, and strengthens the connections between brain cells. It literally makes your brain more adaptable, more resilient, and more capable of learning. And what's one of the most reliable ways to increase BDNF? Daily movement, specifically walking. Steady, rhythmic, moderate intensity movement. And this is why many of the world's most creative thinkers, from philosophers to poets to scientists, have sworn by long walks as part of their daily routine. Because walking not only clears mental fog, it awakens insight. It allows for idea synthesis, emotional processing, and perspective shifts. When your body is in motion, your mind can roam freely. It begins to integrate what your conscious mind alone can't solve. For people struggling with anxiety or depression, walking has shown real clinical promise. Research now supports that walking 30-45 minutes a day, 5 days a week, can be just as effective as certain antidepressant medications for some individuals without the side effects. That's how powerful this simple act is. It's not just a tool for physical fitness, it's medicine for the soul. And it's worth noting that this effect is magnified when you walk in natural environments. Trees, sky, birdsong, fresh air. These are not luxuries. They are signals to your nervous system that it's okay to calm down, that you're not in danger, that you don't have to be hypervigilant. In a world wired for urgency, walking outdoors gives your brain permission to exhale. For older adults, this is especially important. As we age, neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to adapt and grow, naturally declines. But walking stimulates the hippocampus, the region of the brain responsible for memory and learning. Studies have shown that older individuals who walk regularly have a significantly lower risk of cognitive decline, including Alzheimer's disease. It's not just about maintaining memory, it's about protecting your independence, your identity, your sense of self. But here's where walking becomes more than just science. It becomes something deeply philosophical. When you walk, you begin to witness the subtle rhythm of life. You step away from your to-do list and into your being. You hear your thoughts without judgment. You process emotions without drowning in them. You make space, not just in your schedule, but in your mind. Highly healthy people understand that health isn't just about what you can measure in a lab report. It's about how you feel in your own mind. It's about whether you have access to calm, to joy, to focus, not just occasionally, but as a baseline state. And that baseline is not a mystery. It's built day by day, step by step, with practices that support mental harmony. So tomorrow, when the day begins to crowd your mind, when the noise rises, when the pressure builds, don't just push through it. Walk through it. Let your feet move and your breath return to rhythm. Let your thoughts untangle and your heart rate settle. Let your brain reset itself the way it knows how to through motion and awareness. Because the real power of walking isn't just in where it takes your body, it's in where it allows your mind to go. And in a world of constant distraction, that clarity, that sense of calm, purpose, might be the most valuable destination of all. One of the most misunderstood aspects of walking 10,000 steps a day is that people assume it's all about burning calories. They think of it as a weight loss tactic, a fitness goal, or a checkbox in a health app. But here's what highly healthy people know. Walking isn't just about how many calories you burn, it's about how intelligently your metabolism begins to function when movement becomes a daily ritual. Metabolism isn't just a furnace that speeds up or slows down based on how hard you work out. It's a complex, dynamic system of hormonal signals, cellular energy transfer, nutrient sensing, and biological rhythm. And one of the most powerful ways to support and retrain this system to bring it into balance rather than chaos is through consistent, low-impact movement like walking. When you walk regularly, you're not just burning fuel, you're reshaping how your body uses it. You're increasing insulin sensitivity, which allows your cells to respond better to the hormone insulin and take in glucose more efficiently. That means lower blood sugar spikes, fewer energy crashes, and a significantly reduced risk for type 2 diabetes. You're also helping your muscles act like sponges for excess blood glucose, soaking it up and storing it where it belongs, not in your bloodstream, where it can damage tissues. And this effect isn't theoretical. Studies show that a simple 15-minute walk after a meal can blunt blood sugar spikes dramatically. Now, imagine that benefit compounded over the course of a day, every day. That's the metabolic power of walking. It's not aggressive, but it's relentless. It nudges your body gently again and again into better function. But it's not just about sugar. Walking influences how your body handles fat. It encourages the breakdown of stored fat for energy, particularly visceral fat, the kind that wraps around your internal organs and drives inflammation. Visceral fat is dangerous. It's metabolically active, secreting compounds that interfere with your immune system, increase blood pressure, and disrupt hormonal balance. But walking, simple, consistent walking helps reduce it, not by shocking the system, but by training it. This is why walking is so different from quick fix approaches to metabolism. It doesn't rely on extremes. It doesn't punish the body. Instead, it builds rhythm, and the body loves rhythm. It craves routine. Our metabolism is tied to our circadian biology, which means the timing and consistency of your activity matters just as much as intensity. Walking in the morning tells your body it's time to wake up, burn fuel, and engage with the world. Walking in the evening signals winding down, better digestion, and smoother transition into sleep. And this steady rhythm begins to regulate more than just energy balance. It begins to shift your cravings. This is something not enough people talk about. When your blood sugar is stable and your metabolism is functioning efficiently, your cravings for processed sugars and stimulants drop. You're no longer eating to fix a crash. You're eating because your body is truly asking for nourishment. Walking is part of that reset. It re-educates your brain and body to understand what real hunger feels like and what it doesn't. Even your gut microbiome, which plays a central role in metabolism, responds positively to movement. Daily walking promotes microbial diversity, reduces inflammation in the gut lining, and supports better digestion. And when your digestion is working well, your whole body benefits, from your immune system to your cognitive performance. But what's perhaps most powerful is that walking restores your confidence in your own body. Metabolic dysfunction, things like fatigue, weight gain cravings, or hormone imbalance, often leave people feeling betrayed by their own biology. They feel like they're at war with their own system. But walking changes that narrative. You start to see that your body wants to work well. It wants to heal. It wants balance. It just needs consistency, compassion, and movement. And this is where philosophy meets physiology. Because when you walk every day, you're making a statement that goes far beyond fitness. You're saying, I'm willing to meet my body where it is. You're choosing to build health through rhythm, not restriction. Through presence, not punishment. That's how sustainable metabolic health is born. Not in extreme measures, but in daily, repeatable actions that honor your biology. So if your metabolism feels sluggish, if your energy is unpredictable, if your body seems to be working against you, don't go to war with it. Walk with it. Literally, step by step, day by day. Let walking become the quiet teacher that reminds your body how to listen, how to regulate, how to trust itself again. Because when you walk 10,000 steps a day, you're not just improving how your body looks, you're transforming how it works. And when your body works well, life flows better, your mind clears, your energy lifts, and your health becomes not a struggle, but a natural rhythm. And sometimes all it takes to reset your entire system is one good walk. Let's step into something we often overlook, the silent engine behind everything from how fast we recover from a cold to how well we fight off chronic disease, the immune system. It works quietly without asking for praise, constantly defending your body from threats you may never even notice. And one of the most underestimated ways to support this internal army is, quite simply, walking. Yes, 10,000 steps a day isn't just a fitness metric, it's an immune strengthening ritual. Think about it this way. Your immune system is like a highly trained defense force with different units stationed throughout the body. You've got white blood cells patrolling your bloodstream, natural killer cells on the lookout for cancerous mutations, T cells organizing responses to threats. But like any army, these defenders need proper movement to stay effective. And when you walk rhythmically, regularly, you're doing more than stretching your legs. You're mobilizing your entire immune response. Here's what the science tells us. Walking increases circulation, which means immune cells can travel more freely and reach potential trouble spots faster. When you're sedentary, your lymphatic system, which helps filter waste, pathogens, and abnormal cells, becomes sluggish. Unlike your cardiovascular system, the lymphatic system doesn't have a pump. It relies on muscle movement. Walking acts as that pump, pushing lymph through vessels, cleansing your body like a flowing stream clears debris from a riverbed. And here's where it gets even more compelling. Studies have shown that people who engage in moderate daily activity, like brisk walking, experience fewer colds, milder symptoms when they do get sick, and a quicker recovery time. Why? Because movement doesn't overstress the system the way intense exercise can. It enhances immune surveillance without triggering the kind of inflammation that can come from overexertion. That's a key difference. Highly healthy people don't try to crush their immune system into submission, they nurture it. And walking is one of the best ways to do that. But walking doesn't just help your immune cells circulate, it helps them function more intelligently. It lowers cortisol, the stress hormone that in high levels suppresses immune activity. Chronic stress is like a fog that confuses your body's defenses, and walking clears that fog. It brings down systemic inflammation, reduces oxidative stress, and helps regulate immune signaling so that your body isn't overreacting to harmless triggers or underreacting to real threats. Even your gut, which houses over 70% of your immune system, benefits. Walking supports digestive motility, increases microbial diversity, and reduces inflammation in the gut lining. This matters because when the gut is calm and balanced, your immune responses across the board become more accurate and efficient. You're not just boosting immunity, you're refining it. And this is especially important as we age. Over time, the immune system naturally undergoes a process called immune ascendance, a gradual decline in immune function. That's part of why older adults are more vulnerable to infections and inflammatory conditions. But walking 10,000 steps a day helps combat that decline. It keeps your immune system agile, adaptable, and active. It's not a cure-all, but it's a daily act of resistance against the slow drift into biological fragility. Now let's step into a slightly different lens, the philosophical one, because walking doesn't just strengthen immunity in the physical sense. It strengthens a deeper kind of defense, your connection to life, to rhythm, to vitality. There's something profoundly healing about moving your body through space, about breathing deeper, about witnessing the world at a human pace. When you walk, you're not just supporting your biology, you're restoring your relationship with your body. You begin to feel more grounded, more present, more well. And wellness isn't just the absence of disease, it's a felt sense of aliveness. It's waking up in the morning without dread. It's feeling strong in your choices. It's having the confidence that your body is on your side. And walking 10,000 steps a day rebuilds that confidence one step at a time. Because each time you choose to walk instead of sit, to move instead of remain still, you're not just helping your heart, your brain, your metabolism, you're inviting your immune system to rise. You're telling your body, I'm in this with you. I will meet you halfway. So don't wait for illness to remind you how precious your health is. Protect it now while you have the strength to walk into that protection. Because the best medicine doesn't always come in a bottle. Sometimes it comes in the quiet cadence of your footsteps, the gentle rhythm of your breath, the deliberate choice to move forward. And in those steps, your body hears something powerful. I'm alive, I'm healing, I'm here. By the time you've committed to walking 10,000 steps a day, something remarkable begins to happen. Not just to your heart, your muscles, your metabolism, or even your immune system. Something deeper begins to shift. Your relationship with life itself starts to evolve. Because walking, while physical on the surface, becomes profoundly personal over time. It begins to influence how you think, how you feel, how you engage with the world. You don't just move through space, you move through yourself. When people first start walking daily, the initial focus is often on health metrics, blood pressure, weight, steps on a pedometer. But the longer you stay with the practice, the more you begin to notice something more subtle. Your inner world changes. You start to experience a different kind of presence. The noise softens, the urgency fades. You begin to listen to your breath, to your surroundings, to the quiet voice within that's so often drowned out by distraction. This is where walking becomes a form of mental and spiritual alignment. You're no longer rushing to fix yourself. You're not battling your body. You're in conversation with it. You begin to sense when you need to slow down, when to push forward, when to reflect. Walking becomes your ritual, an anchor in the storm, a daily recommitment to being here, fully and completely. And here's what's fascinating. Neurologically, this is just poetic thinking. Walking activates a default mode network in your brain, a system associated with introspection, memory, and self-awareness. It gives your mind room to wander constructively. That's why so many people have their best ideas not at a desk, but during a walk. You begin connecting dots you didn't even realize were related. You start to gain clarity not by analyzing harder, but by moving with intention. Philosophers, artists, scientists, many of history's greatest minds used walking as their thinking tool. And that's not a coincidence, because when you walk, especially without distraction, you engage both hemispheres of the brain in a gentle rhythm. It balances logic with emotion. It unifies thought and feeling. And that unity creates a kind of internal coherence that is increasingly rare in our fragmented digital world. But even beyond cognition, there's something soulful about walking that defies data. When you walk every day, especially at sunrise or sunset, you start to reconnect with the natural cycles of life. You notice the wind on your skin, the warmth of sunlight, the changing seasons. You remember, even if briefly, that you are a part of something greater, not separate from it. And that realization alone, day after day, begins to restore a sense of belonging to your body, to the earth, to yourself. Now, here's the deeper truth. Many of us walk through life feeling disconnected from our purpose, from others, from our own hearts. And while there's no magic bullet for that kind of disconnection, walking offers a path, not an escape from life, but a return to it. Step by step, you begin to feel rooted again, not because everything is perfect, but because you are participating again. You are showing up. You are moving forward. That's what highly healthy people understand. They don't walk because it burns the most calories. They walk because it brings them back into rhythm with what matters. It gives them space to process grief, space to celebrate joy, space to hear themselves think. And over time, that daily walk becomes a daily reset, a moment where they align their outer actions with their inner values. And if you've ever felt stuck mentally, emotionally, spiritually, then you know how powerful forward motion can be. Walking reminds you that movement is always available. You may not be able to change everything at once, but you can take one step, and then another, and then another. And in that consistent forward motion, healing begins. It's no wonder that walking has been woven into spiritual practices across cultures. Pilgrimages, meditative paths, solitary strolls through nature. These aren't just traditions. They're reflections of a deep truth that movement has meaning, that your feet can lead you not just toward a destination, but toward yourself. So yes, 10,000 steps a day can lower your blood pressure, stabilize your mood, reduce your risk of disease, but it can also do something just as vital. It can reconnect you to the rhythm of being alive. It can transform the way you see your body, your mind, your path. It can become not just a practice, but a philosophy. Because walking doesn't just move your body, it moves your perspective. It grounds you in the present. It reminds you that health isn't just what happens in the clinic or the gym. It's what happens in those quiet, consistent choices you make when no one's watching. And sometimes the most profound transformation begins not with a leap, but with a single mindful step.